Hello, and welcome to the Financial Modeling World Cup Open. We're excited. We're beginning today with 32 teams. That means 4 wins will get you to that final match. By the end of today, we'll be down to just 8 players. Let's introduce our host today. To my left there, over 15 years of experience with Excel and managing data, Oz Desolé is the iconic host of the Excel on Fire channel. He's been an MVP in Excel for 6 years. He's the author of 4 books and currently working on a 5th. Welcome, Oz.
That's right. Welcome. Thanks, Bill. Thank you. And I'm here from Portland, Oregon, and I am going to introduce Ian Henderson all the way from Dallas, Texas. Not Dallas, Oregon. Dallas, Texas. And Ian joins us from the fighting games community. And he bridges the gap between the competitive fields of play and brings a different perspective to the Financial Modeling World Cup. Ian!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. And Bill, of course, really needs no introduction, but for those of you that aren't in the know, he's the host of MrExcel.com, one of the foremost resources for Excel online these days. The author of 65 books about Microsoft Excel. It's the Ari Gold of the Excel world, and it's been an MVP in it for over 15 years. I mean, that's a resume right there.
Thanks,
Ian. He is the father of anybody who is making a living purely from Excel.
The father, wow. Don't tell Mrs. Excel, I'll be in trouble.
Hey, yeah.
All right, so look, here's what the story this morning. Early this morning, 11 hours ago, the Asia Pacific group competed, right? So they've already gotten their 4 that are going on to the finals on Saturday today. We're starting out here with 16. You'll see 2 cases today. First, to get down to, I'm doing the math and I should go to Excel. First, to get down to 8 and then 4. So 2 cases today where people will be going head to head. And as far as the live stream, we don't have a live stream on everybody, but we'll be watching a total of 4 head-to-head competitions in the first one and then 2 in the second one, providing explanations as we go along, and our contestants try and solve some very difficult Excel problems. They'll have 30 minutes to solve each case. We've had the opportunity to see some cases. There's some very interesting things here. Some of them, I know that we'll get some early points, like I was able to solve a few, but then some of them absolutely make my head spin. Oz, the smartest thing for us is to be here as hosts and to never be a competitor in this, because these competitors are world-class modelers.
Yes, they are. They move fast, and one thing is they're known for taking the help button off of their keyboards, and it's not because they don't need the help. That's been some media hype. No, because if they accidentally hit it, it takes forever for that thing to open, and then they got to close it. And on a timed competition like that, you get lapped.
That's a 7-second loss right there. 7-second loss when you accidentally press the help button. So that's it.
And when people are doing 3-second laps, and you do 7 seconds, now you really behind. So
that's right.
That's a lot.
Yeah, these folks are serious.
Now, Ian, Oz and I know each other well. We both have YouTube channels, but you're actually in this esports community. You've seen this elsewhere. We're super excited to be on ESPN3 today. Tell us about the world of esports.
All right. So for me personally, I've been working in esports since about 2015. I have worked as a commentator, a tournament organizer, and a competitor within the scene. For me, it's a lot of fighting games, mostly in the platform fighters community, particularly the Smash community. And I'm kind of out here on loan from Smash GG. They were looking around in the office and saying, well, we need, kind of an everyman. And I said, well, I know a little bit about Excel, but I didn't realize that there was competitive Excel. So I figured this is just cool enough to where I want to be able to jump in on it and really get down to it. I've been looking at the rankings, and we do have our number one here today.
That's right.
Kind of the favorite to possibly win the whole thing, Diarmuid Early, in New York by way of Ireland, and with 11,700 season points. He's holding a pretty firm lead by almost 600 over the next competitor.
And one of the things I've noticed about Diarmuid is, many people try and solve level 1 or level 2. Diarmuid looks at the thing and says, I'm going for the 1,000 points, right? He just has that amazing drive to try and solve the whole thing. Sometimes it doesn't work, but, we'll have to watch closely on that. Well, we want to thank our sponsors today. The people that bring this whole thing to us, AG Capital and Microsoft, who are put this together and a nice prize package of $10,000 in total for the people that advance. Now that's split out. Once you make it to the round of 16, then you're in the money, and $3,000 final prize on Saturday for the person who finishes. You want to watch those finals at the same time as today on Saturday, right here on ESPN3 or on the YouTube channel, FMWC YouTube channel.
That's right.
Good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So basic seeding for this one, we already pointed out Diarmuid. From there, I'm not quite certain who the next highest seed is. There we go. We've actually got it up here. Fantastic. We got our graphics.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So the way that this works is it's Diarmuid versus Joseph, right? Competing head to head, and whoever is the winner of that advances on to the next round, right? It doesn't matter if you beat someone else in the other brackets. It's person versus person, and they head on. So you'll see there the brackets on the left. Down at the bottom, you see that some of round 4 is filled in. Those were people that competed 11 hours ago in the Asia version of this. All right, so you can see that Harry Gross has already moved on to finals and is a lock for Saturday, and that's because of the half that was done this morning. Is there a second page to this bracket?
Well, so I met Willem a few years ago. At the same time I met Diarmuid in New York at the
Model Off, right?
Model Off, yep, that's right. Good folks, yeah.
They're very bright. They're very brilliant, and once you make it into this circuit, once you're a world-class modeler, you tend to keep showing up again and again and again. But there's some new names this year, and that's the beautiful thing about the open part of the FMWC Open, is you have people who just say, hey, I'm the Excel go-to guy or girl in my office, and let me try, right? And if you do well enough, you make it into the 128. We had that round this past weekend, and to get down to where we are today. All right.
Oh, and Anoop is there. I've met Anoop before. Good guy. Yeah. So anybody can join this then, but they got to be ready.
Yeah.
This is brutal.
Yes, right. It's
Somebody got their leg pulled off in one of these, and they say, "Look, you should have known this," but they weren't ready.
It is a tough environment out here. I mean, we can see
very tough.
We get the points here as well. And Anoop has been mollywhopping his opponents. I mean, he is a top 3 seed for a reason, and it's showing.
Right, and he has already advanced to Saturday. So this is interesting. If you look at the seeds, number 2 and number 3 have moved on to Saturday's finals. All right, so let's see for today if we can get who we're going to have to join them. All right, so I think we have a player introduction video, so we can meet our players.
Hello everybody, I am Jelle Hettinga. I live in Costa Rica, where I work for Corporación Multi-Inversiones.
Hello, my name is David Drury. I'm from the United Kingdom and work for a company called Operis.
Hi, my name is Julie Bowden and I work for Avalara in the UK.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Melo. I am from São Paulo, Brazil. I work at Ripio, which is a cryptocurrency exchange startup.
Hi, my name is Diarmuid Early. I'm Irish originally. I live in New York City now.
I've been using Excel throughout my career. One of the things I love about it is there's always something new to learn or a different approach to take. It is my go-to application. No matter what it is that I'm doing, I'm always trying to get back to using Excel.
The most interesting model I've ever built was a model for a new TV game show someone was planning to try to figure out how much money they were going to have to pay out in prizes. I got to go and see them film the pilot with Carol Vorderman hosting, but then the show never got made in the end.
I consider Excel to be the backbone of my career, even though nowadays I spend more times in meetings than actually working with Excel. But I do like to transfer my knowledge to the next generation of talented modelers. So for example, with 3 colleagues, we created a workshop for CMI University, which is our accredited in-house learning platform.
What I love about Excel is that you can bring really useful and thoughtful solutions, and many people will even doubt that you can achieve that with Excel.
I started getting Excel experience about 4 years ago when I joined Opera's. Before this, I didn't really have much experience. Since then, though, I've been involved in a lot of model auditing and building and picked up a lot of tips and tricks from all of my colleagues.
All right, there we are. That's the player introduction. So Oz, to answer your question, the way that this works is they'll be competing head to head, and we'll see on the scoreboard what the current score is. And when someone scores, we'll go take a look and see what they're working on. When someone hasn't scored, they will. We'll just choose. We're the omniscient narrators here. We'll choose who to drop in on and see how they're working through this. I know that Oz and I talked a little bit about the cases and how we might think about solving them. So we kind of know where they might head off. But the beautiful thing is, with this many people, there'll be many different ideas of how to solve the problem. There's no one best way to solve
and I
this.
feel like that's a great thing to see, because a lot of times when we're developing our own spreadsheets, we only see our way.
Right.
But if you get to see other people work in real time, it's a real gift.
Now, here's the cool aspect of this. On Saturday, Suat from my office, he said, well, this is no fun. I want to play along. And of course, the cases are available for purchase after the event. But if you're watching the live stream right now, right over there in the YouTube chat, there's a place where you can download that case for free right now. And what the heck? While you're watching us, you can try and solve it. And you can say, next year I should be in this because I was able to get it in 30 minutes, right? So that's just, if you want to play along, and they're free during today's live stream. If you're watching this later, you're going to have to go. It's not much. It's $10 or something like that, or a bundle for the whole group. But
go get it for free, and you don't have to go to your pants and go get your credit card out.
That's right. That's your bonus for actually being here and watching us live instead of watching it later.
Yeah, don't have to break the bank. There's always folks that might be out there that don't know what they've got. They might just have the secret sauce.
Yeah, you might be the Excel hero in your office. It's great to watch everyone. They've just been given the case, so right now they're reading instructions. And it'd be nice to chat with everyone right now, but they're already trying to think through this thing. So hello everyone, good to see all your faces this morning. Let's show our viewers what our first case is going to be today.
Whoop it up.
In this task, FMWC Open participants are analysts keen on exploring probabilities and doing various types of analyses. The current task is to analyze various outcomes of roulette games. The exact layout of a betting table, as well as the payouts, are provided. The participants need to use this information to solve 100 scenarios. There are 5 levels of difficulty, each containing a different question.
All right, there we go. A little roulette. And for the folks at home, we'll explain more about the rules as we get started. But for our competitors, any questions before we dive in?
Any questions?
He says no. Everyone's shaking their head no. Thinking
Yeah,
through
looks
it.
like everyone's locked in.
Ready to
All
do
right.
it.
Yeah. Now we didn't plan this. We need a creative way to do a little countdown here. Oz, you want to count us down from 5, and we'll start
Okay.
the.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
All right, in 30 seconds. That's good. Why don't we just drop in on Pyramid, our number 1 seed today, and see how he starts through this case. And just for the folks at home, let me kind of give a little overview of the strategy here. Every problem is broken down into 5 levels, right? The earlier rounds might be easy questions where you might get maybe, in this case, 4 points for each of the first 10 answers, so 40 points in total. But what I love about the way that they build these cases is the questions that you answer in the first round are important building blocks that are going to lead to the next round, right? So in this case, we have bets on a roulette table, and there's interesting bets like the first 12, the second 12, or red and black. And the first question is just how many coins are worth, how many coins will you win if you bet on a certain outcome, right? And so that means we have to build a lookup table, and you'll see that that's what Pyramid is doing right here.
Yep, it's setting up a lookup table.
Right, to try and figure out to answer those first 10 questions. And what was super tricky is there's easy solutions for much of this, like the odds. You can use the sequence function to get that. But the hardest one is the first one, which is the red or black. I've never studied a roulette table before. It is super frustrating the way that the reds and blacks work. At first, the reds are odd, but then it switches. Like 11 is black, right? And so I actually just gave up on mine and keyed the 36 numbers in. So it'll be interesting to see if Pyramid has some way to get that. Look at that.
He did a replace.
Yeah, he's using a replace function to be able to pick that up. I mean, he set all of these reds just to 1 to be able to find a simple value and get an indicator on it, and then
isn't that awesome?
Some ifs. That's crazy.
This is the point where I say it would be easier if Pyramid was just sitting over my shoulder all day while I worked in Excel, because I never would have come up with that. That's why he's ranked first in the world.
But they're all B's for black. So.
It looks as though he is a little frustrated here. I mean, you can see in this player cam, he's trying to make sure that his formula is working properly. I'm liking the thought that he's taking, the tack that he's taking on this, but it seems as though he's having a little bit of trouble setting this up the way he wants.
Oh, and it's the question is how many points, like all of the red numbers, if you added up all the red numbers, how much are those worth? And he seems to be happy with the outcome of the R versus B, because now he's trying to add the points in.
Right.
He's off to a bad start here.
It's like making a map. He's made a map off to the right.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
To help build the lookup table.
All right, hey, with 8 players, let's go take a look at Joseph and see how Joseph is doing. Yeah, until someone gets on the board here. All right, so
go for it, Bill.
Is Joseph already on level 2? Oh no, he was scrolling down. He's reading ahead. He's trying to read the instructions to try and figure out what skills or what tools he might need to solve those later rounds beyond the first one.
Okay,
right.
He's actually got a separate Excel sheet up to be able to take care of this. I like that he's separating his work here.
Yeah, that's good. Right.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's a great strategy. Well, these case studies look good and they're designed for TV with all kinds of graphics and colors and maybe even merge cells. Oh, it drives Mike Gervin crazy when he hears that there's merged cells here. But it makes it look good. But building your own data off to the side, although the hassle with that, building your data off to the side is, let's say you get the answers. Now you got to get those answers back into the format that you need. So that's always, you need to reserve a minute or 2 at the end.
There might be some time where you need to be double checking too, which is could cut down time.
Well, but then this dark background, I would find it hard to work on. When I was doing this challenge, yes, I went and opened up a brand new, nice, bright worksheet where I could spread out, and make mistakes and make notes and then sweep everything together later. And Bill told me a few years ago that there are 2 kinds of Excel workers: the ones that work methodically through, and then ones who make a big old mess and clean it up at the end.
Oh, and with this 30-minute timer here, you find yourself doing things that you say, I know this is not the best way to do it, but it's working right now, and you don't have time to go back and make it cleaner. All right, so we're still at 0-0 here. Let's go check in on someone else, maybe Yellow.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to go ahead and transfer on over here as Joseph's just setting up everything to get his points of reference going.
So, Emils, can we switch to another live stream? Maybe Yella, if available?
There we go.
All right. So still 0-0
Let's
here.
see, 0-0.
Look at that. He's building out he actually has a few answers in. Kind of working through them one at a time, and that makes sense. They're kind of different problems.
Yeah, I like this. It looks as though he managed to set up what Diarmid was looking for, where he's able to actually just get the numbers as they need to, and then set up the table from there, leaving black as a 0 value.
Yeah, and then do a sum, mapping that stuff out. But this could take a lot of time doing it this way.
It could.
Versus, individually, because you've got, in roulette, you've got your first third, second third, third, odd, even, black, red, 1 to 18, 19 to 36, and then you got the 3 columns. So, and then one of the questions is, what is the sum of the numbers for all of the reds? Sum for all of the blacks, sum in column 3. This could take a...
Michael Jarman just put some points on the board with 32 points.
Okay.
Let's go take a look and see
what happened.
Shit, what's wrong?
Now, that first level is worth 40 points. So the 32, usually when they get one level done, you'll have all the points for that level. And so there should have been 40 points in level 1. That worries me. He's already moved on to level 2 and doesn't realize that he has a couple of mistakes in the first round in level 1. Oh my. That could cost him later.
Yeah, it could, but I mean, getting things up on the board early can be a good strat as well if he's able to just keep this going. But
sure, right.
Like you said, those mistakes could indicate something worse down the line too.
Right, because now this second level is going to build on the first one. It's how much money will you have if you bid the following number of chips on the following sectors and the ball lands on a particular number. So if you bet odds and it lands on even, of course, you win nothing. But if you bet on red and it lands on 18, you have to be able to figure out was 18 a red cell or not a red cell. And of course, not just looking up and seeing in column M that it was a red. You want a formula.
Yeah, Oz, Bill, could you expand a bit on what the process that Michael's working here with the true and false table?
Okay, so
can y'all really get a read on that?
Yeah, I can. So he has numbers 1 to 36 across the top, and for each level, this is essentially a huge lookup table here. He has whether or not that number is in the group. So for the odds, which is in row 30 or 36, for odds, it should be every other one is true, right? And then you'll be able to go back and do a big either X lookup or V lookup or index and match his choice to try and figure out whether this one is a hit or not a hit. And then once he knows if it wins, he just multiplies the bet. Although there is a wrinkle here, some of these categories pay double.
Right,
and that has to be in the lookup table, and I'm not sure where he has that in his lookup table.
Right,
so that might be where we see that mistake coming in from, because we're missing those 8 points somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
I see what you mean, though. Yeah, the group setting there is what reads out for the rows, and then the columns, of course, are just the numbers. That makes a lot of sense. This is an interesting way to look at it.
It was the red and the black that caused him problems. The one thing that you have to do manually is where Michael has the wrong answers, so he's going to have some problems with red and black. Maybe not every red and black, but just at least one number in the red and black category is miscategorized.
Something's off. Yeah,
going to cause problems down the line. The other beautiful thing they do for you here is in each level there's an example with the correct answer, and you always want to build your model based on that example, and make sure that your model matches. Now, if it matches, that's a good sign, but it's not perfect, because sometimes it might match even though you have an error. Like here, Michael has an error on the red or black. So if that question doesn't involve red or black, he's going to get the correct answer.
Okay, looks as though he's finally factoring in the payout scheme here. Let's see if he's able to...
Oh, there it is. Good. Yeah, that's in his table.
Oh, a named range?
Sweet.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Smart stuff. Let's see.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
It fixes things up.
So Diarmid and Joseph have 40, and then there was another pair that had 40.
Yeah, can we get that big scoreboard up at the top again?
Yella and
Oh.
David.
Let's go take a look at.
Oh, nice.
This is great. So 40 means that they finished level 1 and they're on to level 2. Have we checked in with David? Let's check in with David.
Okay, yeah, it looks as though he managed to finish that out, and I like that he's taking each of these separately, carrying down his group's descriptions and payouts here with him.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to figure out. It looks like he's planning on building a big wide table there based on the white cell. The cells he's cleared out the fill so he can see.
Mm-hmm.
And he's using an index function with a match, index and match. Completely respect that.
All right, and trying to fill there. Checking up on his formula here, seeing if he can get that to finish out properly. What's missing?
Yeah, so the index, he has the row number. Now he needs to figure out the column.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, all right. Well, we're neck and neck here with Yella and David. Let's take a look at our scoreboard again.
Okay, let's see. Is he able to flesh it out?
All right, so he's looking at the various, the way that you bet column 1 or odd or red is over there in column G, or F, G, and H has probably merged there. And then he's looking at his lookup table over on the right-hand side.
Right.
Yeah, to try and figure out. Actually, I'm not sure why that table's been copied down there, other than he just doesn't have to scroll back and forth.
And to clarify, so what he's working on right now is the one that is he's bet 10 on column 2,
right?
And the result would be 20. So
yeah, you have to check
10
and see
in column 2.
Right, that's the question.
I'll have a look. Let me run up to the casino
right.
and check it out.
Yeah, he doesn't have time to scroll up, but we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, no, 10 is in column 1, so that would be 0 there.
That's right.
If you somehow knew nothing about Excel and were just thrown into this like competition at this point, I would just start scrolling up and down, manually figuring things out, and hoping that everyone else lost power or something like that, right? I mean, you could certainly have that strategy, and that's the problem with Excel. That you can start doing things and feel like you're making progress, and it's something that takes you 8 hours, and then you run into someone who uses Excel all the time, and they can do it in 2 minutes what you took all day to do.
Yeah. She is. She's an unforgiving mistress sometimes, but it looks as though he's got his formula. He's going to throw that in. Got
okay.
2 of those.
So
that
how's
might
it
be proper
going?
though.
Okay.
Let's run
Let's
zeros
see.
on those.
No, I'm not seeing a lot of right answers over there yet.
Yeah, and
still working on it.
Yeah. All right. That's interesting.
Looks
so
as
he's moving
though
on.
both Michael Jarman and Diarmid have finished out section 2. That they're both at 130 now. It looks as though MJ went ahead and cleared up the scores. Got those right answers on part 1 to clean up the gap there.
All right, let's go take a look at Michael then.
All right. Let's look at it.
Yeah, because this is a perfect score now. You know, round 1's only 40 points, but that round 2 bumps you up to 90.
For the
More
130,
than
that's
double
good.
you.
So now we're working on level 3. And this is one where you, it's a little bit different. You start the game with 100 chips, and you're going to employ the same betting strategy over many Monte Carlo runs. You're going to bet the exact same number of chips and the exact same thing. So first, 21 chips on odd, 3 chips on column 1, 18 chips on H. What is H? Whatever H is.
High.
The high numbers. All right.
19 to 36.
You're going to bet those 10, and they give you in the Monte Carlo fashion the outcome of the 10 spins, right? And you have to figure out how many chips you're going to have at the end. I tell you what, this was a little bit difficult. I had the right lookup table, but now you have to start from that 100. We put 10 on the board. If we win, we get those 10 back, plus we win either 10 or 20, and just tracking that through the 10 games. Although once you get it for one game, you should have it for all of them just about a minute later. So getting the logic right for the first one. And this round is worth 200 points. So that'll jump you from 130 up to 330.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could open things up. I mean, if he's got the right formula here, could see him finish this out pretty quick.
Right.
already reading out what the payout might be here if he's able to get the high rolls.
That is quite a formula up there. Holy smokes, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was going through this, I made multiple lookup tables because it just seemed to be too much of a hassle to figure out, okay, here's column 1, and then here's the high low, and then here's the first, second, and third thirds. I made multiple lookup tables.
Did you really? And then
yeah.
How'd you choose which lookup table to go to? Were you changing the formula from time to time, or were you somehow using like a choose to go look at a different lookup table?
I would have it tell it which table to look at. But then, see, one thing I noticed too was the setup was key, because I was using just R and B, and then there was red and black in the example, so I had to go and change my lookup table so that things would match up.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got stung by that too, because I started out with the RB, and then later on there was something where they actually used the word red, or they switched. And it was just 10 lookups. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's sure. I'm like, wow, that wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it does get a bit tricky, especially with everything shifting there. But
what's
Dearman's score? He's going ahead and prepping his sum here.
Top left. All right, so I have a strange teams question. The top of my screen is cut off. I can't see Dearman up there. What's his score?
Dearman's at 330 right now. Looks like he finished round 3 already. And it looks as
go.
though Michael just did as well to catch right on up here.
Oh my gosh. Neck and neck.
Let's see here.
Holy smokes.
All right.
There we go. Feeds back from me. Oh, what's going on here? There we go.
Okay.
Is anyone else having technical issues?
Yep. Yeah, I'm getting a
I'm
green
seeing a bunch
screen
of
there.
green.
Okay.
Although it's still
Here we
looks
go.
good on YouTube
No.
and ESPN.
Okay, awesome.
All right,
So it's still broadcasting just fine.
Yeah, it's just some Teams issues we're having here, folks.
Right. 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, it looks as though right now, 330 to 330. Michael doing an incredible job here of keeping it with Dearman. I do want to be able to go ahead and shine the spotlight on over to a corner of the game that we have yet to with Julie Bowden and Stig.
Yes.
Let's take a look at Julie.
Yeah, Julie's sitting right here at level 2. She finished off level 1 pretty solidly. And Stig is still at 0. It looks as though she's got a partial solve on part 2 with 46, but she's looking a little confused.
It's great to see that deer in the headlights look.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how I feel about this sometimes as well. I'll be honest with you folks.
Right. Okay. So this is great. Again, you don't have to beat every person on the board. You just have to beat the person that you're playing against. So Julie right now with 46. If Stig never comes through with a point, then Julie is okay. And we have 12 minutes to go. So we're almost about 18 minutes in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie might be okay unless Stig comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it looks as though she might be pondering about moving on to level 3 as well. She seems a little possibly stumped by level 2, and might be looking here to just rack those points up.
Sometimes you got to step away and think, just think, and then an idea comes to you and say, "Ha! I know it now."
There was a situation in an earlier round where it was coming down to the end, 2 minutes left to go, and they realized they would not have a chance to get everything. And they actually switched in and used ran between to generate some random numbers. And maybe you hit 1 or 2, but that might be enough to generate the difference, right?
Yeah,
so not a strategy that you want to see from minute 1, but certainly with as time starts to run out there. Okay.
That's like being at the end of the game and the quarterback throws the ball directly at a defender. Just pow!
All right.
It's just the ultimate Hail Mary, the shotgun approach.
So, I'm fascinated that we have 2 players that got to the 330 points in the first 20 minutes, right? That's an impressive. For me, when I was trying this, I was at minute 26 before I got to 330 points. So now you start to wonder, are they going to be able to do level 4, which is worth another 240 points, getting you up to 680. In level 4 and level 5, and these are always they're significantly harder. But with 12 minutes left to go, it's possible that if you solve the first three levels in 18 minutes, that there's still time. So we still see that the max score is still 330. Let's see what else is close here.
I don't remember. I saw that Steak wasn't on the team's call and didn't have his ninja setup. Is he still playing? Is he available?
We're not actually sure. There was a problem connecting to the live stream, so we're not sure if Stig is out there or not.
Might be out there wandering in the ether somewhere.
Might be. He might show up out of nowhere and dump 300 points in here somehow. But
right. Let's go ahead and let's jump over to Joseph here. He's able to catch up on a level 2 here. He's working on level 3. It looks like.
Let's see.
And that's kind of the one that we haven't gotten to see a whole lot of other than MJ's starting points. Looks as though what's he building here, boys? What do we got?
Okay, so this is where you're making the 10 bets and you're starting with 100 coins, which is what he just typed in there underneath the start. And then trying to figure out for each round whether you won or lost and what your new balance is. And then at the very end, what's your balance after the final bet. So at some point you have to take that last row that he has there and transpose that back, that horizontal data, and get that back to be vertical into his final answer. And just flip back. What's he looking for? He's trying to figure out. Also, he took the data from the example. Then this is the right strategy here to make sure that it matches. Oh, and now he's doing a one variable data table. Data tab.
Nice. A data table.
Yeah, right. Which is a great strategy. He's selecting the data, goes to the data tab, what if analysis, and then fills in the column right there. Well, that was fast. He can't even talk about what he's doing. But it didn't work for him. Why didn't it work? He has the wrong answer. He's actually doing the data table wrong. He needs that 69 to be the top right corner cell of his data table, and that's not working for him. He was just off by one cell, and he's wondering why. He's trying to figure out what the difference is. That word example 3 is a bad example. He needs to have
data tape.
Oh, there it is. And
okay.
But they're all 69 all the way down. Something's wrong.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no.
See, I mean, he still didn't move it down, and I think he dragged and dropped it outside of the pattern, so that's why it's there. Maybe.
Oh, but now he has an answer. Now it calculated. This is funny. These data tables can take a long time to calculate. There might be a 10, 12 second delay.
Yeah.
But so he's going to paste this in, and that might get him up to 330 points.
Yeah, should exclude his null values here, and then work from there. There, he's found it.
All right.
See if he's able to lock it in for right. And it looks as though Diarmid's gone ahead and just expanded even further. Yeah, Joseph finishing out problem 3.
Oh, man. Just as Joseph is ready to tie Diarmid gets up to 473, which is wild. So that means that Diarmid has some of case 4 answered. Let's go.
Joseph's stuff looked like his grandmother's kitchen on Sunday morning. There's eggs and flour and everything all over the place. But you know what? At the end, his pie is gonna taste good.
And we're gonna clean it up later.
I watched Joseph beat Anna Rose to get here, and he is a very good modeler. He probably would have beaten anyone in the field except for Diarmid. An unfortunate draw for him. To be competing against the best modeler in the world today. Let's go see how Diarmid's doing. All right, so he is in level 4. Level 4 is worth a total of 240 points. If you get all of these right, he'd be at 680. So currently he has answers in, but something is wrong.
Yeah, something just slightly amiss here. And it looks as though he's actually expanded the initial sheets table by a large margin here into a full range off of the chip bets.
And this time they're going through 50 rounds of betting, and you potentially could run out of coins. And the question is, how many rounds will you play until you lose all of your money? Right. So that's a harder question. It's not how much will you have at the end. You actually have to track and see, where did we run out of money?
Right.
And there might be a point where the instructions tell you to bet 25 chips, but you only have 10, and you will bet 10, whatever you have left. So a lot of extra variability there.
Makes sense. That's going to be a tricky one because you have to account for just the difference.
Let's check out Daniel's screen. Yes.
Okay, and so Daniel here, 32, still a little bit of trouble on level 1. Looks as though he's just missing one of these results here.
Red and black, yeah. And he's working on level 2, but it could be that his table that he has built for the red and black, that has doomed him from the beginning. That early mistake, which he doesn't realize, of course, is going to cause him problems throughout with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, you can't really build on a broken foundation, and that's really the first question that leads to a lot of that.
Looks like his dozen 2 and dozen 3 are off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Daniel to come back. Now, Michael has a few points. He's above the 330 level, which indicated he solved level 3.
Come on, Daniel's drinking water. Come on, put the water down, man. Come on.
4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is when you got to dig in.
Oh my! Let's can we put the total scoreboard up? Yeah. How about the total scores? Can we see the total scores?
Yes.
Yeah, coming down to the home stretch, 473 points for Diarmid. Joseph has been catching up. He's been keeping up remarkably well, but he's got to be able to start at that fourth question. Julie's still sitting at 46 and Stig with the goose egg. Michael Jarman at 352 to Daniel's 32. And probably the most competitive other than our top set with Yella and David at 118 and 180 respectively. It looks as though David's gone ahead and passed up on question 2. He's finished that out, and then Yella is probably sorting that out and just has a few mistakes.
All right.
Well, we have 4 minutes to go. So,
and Bill, I don't know how you understood what Joseph was doing.
it's the same strategy I've used, and it's a strategy.
Okay.
It's a strategy I see used here a lot. I'll go into you solve the first one in a complicated many row table, and then use the data table to work through that. Oz, not a long story, but when you first ran the Excel hash, my solution with the asteroid that used a data table using 10,000 iterations. So yeah.
Okay.
I know it's the boringest Excel hash ever, but go check that out for how to use a data table. All right, good. We have 3 minutes left. Let's go take a look and see how Yella's doing. Still behind David. David with 180 and Yella with 118. And Yella.
What have we got going here?
Wow, what is this? So we're working down in level 2, trying to solve some level 2. And rewriting the formulas by dragging the little square when the formula's in edit mode. Good little trick there.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I do like this a lot, actually. This is kind of a crazy play he's going for by just alternating where the edit cells are and then changing the input and the formula around that.
Oh my gosh.
That's
depending on how far he can get with 2 minutes left to go. Boy, if he had a few more minutes, I bet he would be able to get it. Or you might, I don't know, do you try and get the points?
Yeah, because he's got answers in there. They're just not all correct. He's missing 1 or 2 right now. And it looks as though Joseph's actually pulled ahead over Diarmid at 550. Finished off problem 4.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and Michael Jarman as well, finishing off as well there. So Joseph sitting with a sizable lead here, unless Diarmid can pull it back. Let's go ahead and pull it on over to Joseph real quick and see where he's working right now with 1:40 to spare. Probably feeling fairly comfortable in this lead right now, but still working.
But he had them eggshells and flour everywhere and butter on the floor, but that pie is coming together.
We had him counted out, didn't we?
We did.
No, you don't count your grandmother out. It's only 9 o'clock. The pie will be ready at 1. Get out of the kitchen. Stop looking in here.
This sport doesn't build character; it reveals it.
Yeah, it really reveals. That's right.
Yeah, no, he's working hard on this, trying to get just as much of a lead padded as possible.
Look at that.
I'm wondering how Diarmid's doing right now.
Yeah, right.
We saw initially he was kind of been trickling in these points. It might be that he's having some issues just finding a consistent formula.
It's so close with 473 to 550. This is going to be neck and neck. There's a chance we're going to have the best model in the world knocked out of this competition in 45 seconds.
This would be a huge side bet, honestly, or a huge upset. Sorry.
Yeah. let's take a look at Dearman for his last.
Yeah, let's see what's happening.
Yeah, 30 seconds to be able to close this gap.
30 seconds. That's right.
And it looks as though he's just barely pacing up. 488 now. If he can finish the whole sellout, I mean, he may be able to just tie. And what do we do in situations where we have a tie here for the finish?
Whoever got to that score first, so that would be Joseph in this case. It was a 550 tie.
Yeah, he does. He does win it on
12
the time
seconds
slot.
left to go. 10. Oh my gosh, can he pull it out?
Yeah, and
5,
3, 2, 1. There. Oh, saw history made here today. Oh my god.
that we did an upset here with Joseph Palisock advancing over Diarmid early. The first seed of the tournament being knocked out.
Oh man.
Oh, my
Down
goodness.
goes Jarmid. Down goes Jarmid.
You know, he
Wow.
had a huge increase over his score on Saturday, but it wasn't enough. Draw up against Joseph Palisock. Oh my gosh. Julie scored 46 to advance over Stig. We still don't know if Stig was working. Michael German, 550. Michael and Joseph had the highest scores of the live streams that we were watching. Of course, remember there were other players who weren't in the live stream.
Yep.
And then David Drury over Yella.
And you know what? A win is a win. Whether you got 46 points or 180, counts as a win.
Yeah, so that'll mean that Joseph, Julie, Michael, and David will advance on to the next round. Let's go ahead and whip that bracket on up, see who's going to be playing who next, because we do have our biathlon project as well coming up.
All right. I think we have a chance to chat with the participants.
Yeah.
Let's see
Do
if
we? Okay.
they're available to us. There we are. Oh my gosh, we were on the edge of our seat, Joseph, watching you pull out a win. I have to tell you, I was convinced you were out of it, and I was just felt so bad that you were placed up against Dearmid, and then all of a sudden we looked back and you had jumped way ahead. What happened? That was amazing.
He knows what happened.
Don't know.
Come on, Joseph.
I got
Flip it on
lucky.
us.
It's roulette. Anything can.
You gotta unmute. You gotta make sure you're unmuted.
Unmute.
The team's call. OBS
wanna hear this.
allows it to go through for us.
Yeah, they can hear him on YouTube, but we can't hear him. If you can
Hey.
unmute, yeah, there you are. So Joseph,
I don't know. Anything can happen at a roulette table, right?
Ah.
I guess I just got lucky.
No, you didn't get lucky. You knew what you were doing. I could tell. I didn't know what was going on, but I could tell because you go to a good cook's place, the kitchen is all messed up. Stuff is on the floor and everything, but the food tastes good. And I knew it. I knew Joseph, you were cooking up something good.
yeah, he Joseph, Oz described, you have to watch the replay. Oz described your spreadsheet like a kitchen with eggs all over the floor, but it apparently worked. Dearmid, oh my gosh, you scored 400 more points today than on the last game, but wasn't enough.
Yeah, well, at least Michael didn't double my score this time.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. Julie,
Congrats, Joseph, well done.
Julie, you prevailed over Stig.
Prevailed.
We still don't know. Stig is still a reference error. No live stream, so congratulations.
Well, it's a tough match.
And then Michael.
Julie, you muted.
So
Unmute.
there's two mutes. So you're muted in OBS and Teams. They can hear her on YouTube. She just has to unmute in Teams so we can hear you. All right, and then who else had 500?
Oh,
Julie,
sorry.
there you are. We've got you now. Yeah. How are you doing there?
Got a bit of a lag. Yeah, all good. It was a really tough match against myself, though.
Yeah.
You managed to prevail. And you even got a few points into the second level.
Yeah, it was quite tough.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
These are extremely difficult problems, I will say.
Very difficult. You can just think of the Daniel. What's happening over there with you, amigo?
I have a problem with gambling, And,
There's a phone number for that.
no, I'm joking. But I think level 2 was really hard for me. I was a bit nervous. Then when time was almost out, I got an idea to keep going. But if I had 1 hour to do, maybe I would get things done better. But this is awesome. I'm so happy to be here. These people are amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for this live event. Is really cool. I love it.
That's great.
I want to
Great
keep playing. Yes.
Yeah,
Great
and
having you here.
there are no
Obrigado.
losers, right? If you made it to this point, you're among the best in the world. So that's great.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Legal.
Yeah. Yes, legal.
Michael, I think you finished with the most points, or a tie for the most points of anyone. Is that right? Were you working on level 3 or level 4? Or
they were both at 550, I believe, after
550.
finishing off level 4.
All right.
Yeah, I finished off level 4. Yeah, with a couple minutes to go, and I looked at level 5 and decided that I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looked very hard. Apparently less of a gambling problem for me. Good round.
Yeah.
I think,
Excellent.
again, a lot more points I got in round 2. So yeah, pretty pleased.
Cool. That's
But,
good.
I've got to face my colleague David now. So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yella, great job there. You were head to head against David, and you didn't prevail. But any reactions to how it went today?
Yeah, I think the key was strategy and just to find out how to handle the problem. And I think I didn't have the right strategy. I got some points, but to really get the real points, I think probably I would have to use another strategy.
Strategy.
That's the amazing thing about Excel. There's so many different ways to do things, and you head off in a path that you think is the right way. And sometimes in a competition like this, it just takes a little bit too long.
But and then in real life, right? Because when we show our tutorials, I'll show you how to do a sum ifs or whatever. There's still strategy. Strategy is key.
Right. That's right. And us, you and I will post a video on YouTube. We worked on it. We've sweated. We've slaved. And then 1 minute later, someone says, that would have been easier if you would have done this. I'm like, oh, no.
That's right. But those are those scary people like Bill Scissors. It's like, woo.
David, you're our.
David.
How'd you do today?
I think I set off in a little bit of a wrong direction, but managed to sort of brute force it and correct the error I made early on, which managed to luckily just scrape me into the next round.
All right, that's great. We're glad to have you there. All right, so for our folks who didn't win, this is our last chance to talk to you, and thanks so much for participating. We have the final bracket available here. Let's take a look and see who's moving on. All right, so we're gonna have Joseph and Julie moving on to round 4. Cecilia and Jason. That looks like that was a really close case there, with Cecilia beating Steven 97-63. Was that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then Michael and David, which we watched. This morning, Harry and Willem. Let's take a look at the next screen.
On the flip side.
All right. Early this morning, Noop Handley moved on. Yep. And yeah, this is all from. Well, no. Let's see. It looks like Samir and Jason. Neither one scored. That was earlier. Okay.
Yeah, I think Samir and Ashley's match hadn't been played yet. Neither had Jason or Philippe's. So that's cleaning up pretty nicely. And then we just have our 2 remaining matchups here for this broadcast for the biathlon problem.
Joseph asked, how about a 1-minute bio break? And this is a perfect time because we have a short video that will allow you to run, Joseph. So let's take a look at our video here.
But he can't watch the video if he,
That's okay.
right, and we're back. So we've got our final four here: Joseph, Julie, Michael, and David.
And
going
then
off.
there were four.
You know, and the thing that just shocks me is you just finished 30 minutes of stressful solving, and now we're about to dump another case on you. You know, I had the ability to look at the first one, and then I waited a day before I looked at the second one. That is not real life, though. In the FMWC,
That's
ready
right
for the next one. All right,
you just got to deal with it.
How's everyone doing? Are you ready for another 30 minutes of intense Excel solving? Yeah, thumbs up. That's good. All right,
Come on,
Julie's smiling.
No, stop smiling. You got to look mean. This is, come on. This ain't funny.
Ready in general. I'm just trying to download the case, so give me 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
all right now.
We shouldn't be distracting you here. All right, and we have a great animation for our audience at home to show them what the next case is about. And Oz and I were talking. This is a sport. I've seen this sport occasionally, but I was completely clueless about how this works. So let's show the video to our home audience.
See the video.
FMWC Open participants are hired as data analysts by the national biathlon team of their countries. Their goal is to model the possible results of the Biathlon World Cup's next stage for their home team and for the competing teams. Biathlon is a winter sport that involves skiing and shooting. For example, a sprint race starts with a skiing lap of 2,500 meters, followed by shooting 5 targets. They are given 5 bullets and, in some cases, 3 additional bullets. For any target not shot, a biathlete has to ski a penalty loop that is 150 meters long. After completing the required number of penalty loops, the biathlete gets back to the main track, skis another lap of 2,500 meters, and shoots again. After the second shooting, he makes the penalty loops and runs the final lap of 2,500 meters to the finish. The tasks provide the participants with the projected speed of a sportsman at each lap, as well as the projected shooting results. A white circle means that the target was shot, while a black circle means that the target was missed. While calculating race results, the participants should assume that one regular shot takes 10 seconds and shooting one extra bullet takes 15 seconds.
I love those. Those are actually really well made.
Yes, yeah, they are. For me, having no idea, I've seen this on TV, you know, like you're watching the Olympics and a sport that you're interested isn't on, and you have someone skiing and shooting. I never understood any of the rules whatsoever for this. It's a fascinating sport. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, you basically do a 2.5 kilometer ski, and we have the speed. The players have been given the speed for that, and they have to try and figure out how many seconds. That's the question. How many seconds did this take? And then there's all kinds of extra rules that go in the other levels as far as shooting and missed shots and penalty, and we'll try and explain it as we go. Any questions from our competitors today as you try and absorb this this case?
Questions. Okay.
All right.
About to get pushed off the cliff now. Last chance.
Ian, do you have a fascinating way to count down from 5?
Yeah, I mean, I just know how to do it simple. Let's go with
good.
5,
Yeah,
4,
Chitty,
3, 2,
wow.
1.
And
we're
all
off.
right,
We're
good.
starting out.
Yeah, who do we start off with? Oh no, David has changed into a reference error.
Yeah, hopefully he's still connected. Hopefully we didn't get disconnected. You might have just shut the camera off on the OBS, but let's go ahead and jump in with Michael here to start.
All right. Michael and Joseph had scored the top in the previous game, but roulette is completely different than biathlon. So
that's right.
In this first round, and I don't know, Oz, did you see that this is now simpler than when we first looked at it? I think Oz and I were both crying when they tried to explain it to us the first time.
I definitely gave this a look, and I was profoundly confused when I first looked at the initial iteration of this. This looks a lot cleaner. So what we're looking for, folks, is varying degrees of when folks finish out. As things go on, your round 1 finisher moves into round 2 and gets a start ahead of everyone else. So there are some tricky ones after we get this initial finish.
Yeah.
And the interesting part of the shooting aspect of this is you shoot 5 targets, and let's say you make 3 of those targets. Well, good for you, right? But then you're forced for the 2 that you missed to take a 150-meter penalty ski, right? So, oh, sorry, you missed 2. Before you can start to do the 2.5 kilometers, you have to, go over here off to the side and do 300 kilometers extra, which will take more time. Right? So
you got to take your whooping, right?
And then
exactly.
And then later in another level, they give you 7 bullets to try and hit, or 8 bullets to try and hit. You have extra bullets.
8.
Right? But if you miss and you use the extra bullets, then there's a 15-second penalty. And so in every case here, we're trying to figure out how many seconds is it going to take to complete all of this. And in the first one, it's basically 2.5 meters at 23 kilometers per hour. How many seconds is that? Add it to 2.5 kilometers at 22.3 kilometers per hour, and just figure out the number of seconds. So the 100 points here in the first round, if you can solve, I think, the first 20. And I actually think this one should be relatively fast. I would expect to see people on the board pretty quick. So
yeah,
like
it's a well-designed case.
To see what's going on.
Yeah, we might need Michael to zoom in a little bit. Who knows? But
the other interesting thing, of course, in Excel we have the round function, but you don't want to round here until the final answer goes in. So the intermediate results are not rounded, but then you round to the nearest integer number of seconds. And these are big numbers. There's not going to be any RAM between that's going to get you anywhere here with these. All right, so we're about 3 minutes in. Michael is working through this. That should be his total right there. And I like the confidence. He can't even see the numbers because of all the hash signs, but he knows they're right, and he pastes them in and still gets hash signs. Oh, you just see that little reaction there. Yeah.
What's going on here? Is it just taking a while to load, or is it
Well, the hash sign is a sign that your column's not wide enough, right? That's an easy fix. Unless you're getting a value error, and then it's, there we are.
There
we
it
are.
is.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You needed the input from the previous rows to be able to finish the formula. That makes sense.
There we are. All
there
right.
You go.
That actually looks really good right there. You should get some points on the board when he logs those.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that is beautiful. 100 points. All right.
Great start already. Can we get the leaderboard as well up there, just so we can see where we're at with the rest of our team and see how folks are going along?
Okay, so he's on to level 2. Let's see how David is doing on level 1. And again, I expect everyone here should be able to get to the 100 points pretty quickly. Looks like David has the first 3 solved, and he's just working on the sum. Testing against the one that they gave you the answer, that 1102 there back in row 59.
Yeah. And it looks as though he's got the right answer. I saw 1102. Just testing, making sure that he can get the formula right on the example question, and then he's going to be able to set the formula up from there.
Copy down. He's checking to make sure the cell references are still pointing correctly. Yeah. Good. It's a little extra care there, which is good because you don't want to make a mistake early on, because this logic is going to carry on to level 3 later on, because you're going to have both skiing and shooting.
Yeah, and we did kind of see that in the last case as well with David. You mentioned had an early mistake. It set me back a bit. I had to go back and work on it to make sure I could ensure the lead.
Right. Look at that. 100 points right away. Boom.
As soon as it records those. All right, let's see. And it looks like Joseph has the 100. Julie is still working on this one. Let's go see how Julie's doing.
Yes.
I love this. I love to see the scores posted early. That means we're off to a great start.
All right. So she's going ahead and getting that broken down for seconds here, trying to get it right. Seems though it looks to be a little less than half than what she needs. So there we go, getting those signs in.
She doesn't have a look of panic on her face,
which is good. Always a good start.
Right.
Yeah.
So what could she be missing here? We've got K61 times 1,000. So we're breaking down the kilometers, and then we're getting towards times 60. So we're getting those minutes in per hour.
Yeah, because it's kilometers per hour, and you have to report it in seconds. All right, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's always 2.5 kilometers though. So I don't know why the K61. Why is the 2.5
Yeah, I'm not quite certain there myself.
Yeah, I would have just
looks as though she's reevaluating possibly.
K46. That's the lap length.
All right, so we have folks moving on to the interesting level 2. Let's go take a look. I think at Joseph. How about Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph, our kind of star of the show to kick off here, upsetting the number 1 seed, moving in and assuming that seed himself, and working in that messy kitchen you love to call so much, Oz. He's starting off here on number 2, example 2.
Yep. And he's doing it on a separate sheet where you got plenty of room to spread your stuff out.
All right, so here's what we have. We have 2 rounds of shooting, 5 bullets each, and you see the white versus black. I think the whites are the hits, the blacks are the misses.
Correct.
You spend 10 seconds for each shot, whether you make it or not, but then the penalty comes in. For every shot that you missed, you're forced to do 150 meters at the same speed as lap 2, right? So whatever your lap 2 speed was. So basically here, the 10 shots, that's going to be a static number. That should be really easy. But then figuring out the penalty, how many of those 150 meter penalties did you have to do and at what speed? Yeah, so, adding a little bit of complexity.
Not only that, you also have to account for the difference in start time, I think.
Yeah.
So being able to, if we're operating, I think on the base assumption that, let's see here. No, it just lists laps. So I don't know if you have to account for that in your formula.
In this one, you don't. Level 2, you don't.
Yeah.
But later
Level 2,
on, in the relay, we're going to get to that.
Jeez, that's going to be tricky.
I know. Yeah, right. Yeah, those are the ones where I secretly hope that 30 seconds is up. Or 3 minutes is up, so I won't have to try and solve that one live.
We don't got to look at it too much.
All right, so we have Michael at 240 and David at 100, Joseph at 240 and Julie at 0 with 22 minutes left to go. Still a lot of time left here.
A lot of time. Come on.
Oh my gosh, Michael just got 440 points, which means that he solved level 3.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hop over there, see what we're looking at.
Yeah, let's take a look at Michael.
Boing, 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 boing. Oh, there we go.
All right, so now level 3 combines level 1 and level 2. You're both doing the 3 laps, the 2.5 kilometer laps, plus the shooting, figuring out the penalty, and figuring out how much time that took. So you're putting together your skills from level 1 and level 2 into a single answer down there. It looks like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really strong case because it's built on iterative function. I mean, you're just taking everything from the previous round, but you have that modifier that makes it so interesting. You've got to account for it in each of your formulas.
Yeah, not to mention just the fact that this case is wider, right? So those formulas that you had working in columns AN are now out in columns AE or AF. So you kind of have to move your logic over and make sure that the things are still pointing to the right cells and so on. And yeah, so that's great. He has the 440. That is amazing. He's on to level 4. Really a lot faster than I thought that anyone would make it.
He's too much. He's inhuman.
Yeah, it looks as though he's porting his table over for reference here.
Oh,
just dragging, dropping, and copying.
You had mentioned that concept of you have to start late, right? So whatever happened in round 3, however many seconds you were off the lead in round 3, you have to start that many seconds later.
Right.
So you have to look back from level 4 back to the players in level 3.
Yeah, and that's why he's bringing that over, is for that resource.
Right. Yeah. So that becomes an extra thing to add into the time. Interesting. And it's also, you'll notice here, Oz, over there in columns G and H, or at least column H, that is a data type. You'll see the little map icon there. That's a new function in Excel. And I bet
data types.
They're pulling those flags in column I from the data type. Yeah, it's like H146.image to pull those flags in, which of course makes it look better. Doesn't change the calculations at all, but still kind of a nice way to jazz up your spreadsheet a little bit.
Yeah, it's a nice way to use the conditional formatting tool. Definitely something was it Andrew pointed out to us yesterday?
Yeah, right. The black and white
to make those dots. Yeah,
to make those dots. I'm like, Andrew, where are these dots coming from? Because I've seen Andrew in the past use Unicode characters, which initially, that bothers me because I don't have a spade or a heart character on my keyboard. Like, where are you getting these from? But that was actually conditional formatting. Those are either zeros or ones there, each black and white dot.
Yeah.
And our home conditional formatting icon sets.
A lot easier than remembering an alt code for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I have to go look those up every time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're just rounding the bend on 11 minutes here. I mean, it looks as though we've got a pretty strong lead here from Michael still, 440. David catching up nicely. Let's go ahead and swap over to him, see where he's at with the process.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
Okay, David's got a sum function going.
Yeah, it looks as though he's trying to make sure he can work with this. Gets his drag down. All right, making sure he's got everything right here. Looks as though we're getting the rounded function. There we go. But it all looks eerily similar. There we are. Able to swap that out and able to move that in, get that in the appropriate field, and see about getting those points. There we go.
Let's see.
Yeah, so that should be 200 points if those are right.
Yeah, boosts him up to 440, matching with Michael now.
Neck and neck.
Yeah, right. Michael has a bit of a lead. He's able to start a bit early there.
Right. And Michael just jumped ahead to 536, which is not, that means that he has some errors in level 4. That's amazing. So Michael has at least half of level 4 solved. This is good. We're going to have someone, we probably going to have someone that gets to the full 1,000 points here.
Yeah, this is running really well. We're right on track for that. Let's go ahead and see how Julie's doing.
Okay.
Last we checked in on her, she was still working on level 1. Looks as though still having a little bit of trouble on that, getting the function there for breaking down kilometers per hour into seconds, and then running that against the distance that we've worked with.
She probably wishes that Joseph was using Stig's internet.
Yeah. She did describe her first round as a battle against the South. This time though, you've got an opponent that's bearing down on you with a 440 point lead.
An opponent who just knocked off the best modeler in the world too.
Yeah, this could be a rough one for Julie.
But just understanding this stuff is
right. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, Excel is a deep program and it has a lot that you can work with.
Yeah, lots.
It's very demanding.
Lots to work with, but then also these rules, understanding
the biathlon, right? The rules for biathlon. Yeah, this is good. The next Olympics, I'll be able to at least watch the sport and understand.
Yeah,
but I could come back to Excel and figure it all out.
We'll get it.
I can't ski, but
actually did this once.
Did you
did
really?
Biathlon once. So I grew up in Alaska. It was weird. It was a summer one, so we were running instead of skiing, so it wasn't quite so involved. But it's very fun.
Okay.
So, is it really true that when you miss a shot, you then have to run an extra 150 yards or meters?
Yeah, you get penalized for it.
And is it just
as far as the one where you ran it? Yeah. Ours was up like a hill too. So it was when I was a Boy Scout. It was so funny.
Who invented this? Right? What a cruel.
The Scandinavians. I was eyeballing chat and someone said that, it's Scandinavian in origin. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm like having a bit of fun out in the cold, and we're almost at the halfway mark here, folks.
Almost halfway. Right. And I've heard that the biathletes train to where after they've run and they're breathing heavy and stuff, that they've trained themselves how to shoot steady.
Yeah. Being able to be steady after cardio is hard.
Oh yeah,
it is really difficult.
That makes sense. All right, so on our leaderboard up here, Michael is at 680 now. And David at 440, so they're both neck and neck. It seems like Joseph has pulled away from Julie, who is still back here on level 1.
Let's go ahead and jump on over to Joseph. We've given a lot of time to our bottom half of the bracket, but
all right,
Joseph here looks as though working on example 4 right now, getting everything set up. May have just finished it, in fact, as we're coming up on this.
And that'll be worth 240 points. Oh yeah,
that'll bring him right up for it.
Joseph moves into the lead there, and now he's on to level 5, which is the relay. This is a country by country competition where at one point you don't do any shooting, but you hand the gun off to your teammate, fellow countryman or countrywoman who moves on. So you have to factor in 3 laps with shooting in between, but then there's no shooting after the 3rd lap. You're actually handing the gun off to the next person who starts to run.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and there are extra bullets provided on each shooting. If you shoot an extra bullet, it requires an extra 15 seconds. But then, of course, you avoid having to run the penalty 150 meters.
Oh no, there might be a small issue here for Joseph because his country and flags aren't showing.
Oh my!
Yeah,
probably doesn't have any impact on the.
Yeah, shouldn't.
Yeah, that's funny. Why would that happen?
It's just with more countries. Okay, so not so much.
They're using another data table. Is that the dialogue I just saw?
Yeah, let's see. He's still reading the rules. How many seconds will each country need to make it to the finish line? All right, so total seconds. He's going back up to.
Relay races level 5. 4 legs of 7,500 meters each. 4 different biathletes skiing.
This is exciting. With 13 minutes left to go, for someone to actually get to the 1,000 points.
All right. Joseph's doing that pause. He's doing that think. Just slow down. So you got to tell yourself, slow down sometimes.
Got to put the blinders on.
Yes.
Sure good.
You can't be run by the clock.
Harry in the chat realized that Julie is just off by a factor of 60. She needs to convert minutes to seconds, and Julie would have it. Oh, Julie.
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing to get stuck on. Thanks for that,
See,
Harry.
This is a sign of a real champion, Joseph. That's what we're seeing here today, folks. A true champion, one who knows his craft, but he step back and reflect, regroup, and then go again.
He's moving on now, and right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's something we emphasize a lot in the fighting games community, is being able to know when to take a beat and just recognize your situation, observe what's going on. And it's good to see Joseph able to kind of take that step back and refine what he's working with. I mean, he's already putting up numbers here into example 5, trying to get his sums going. But let's go ahead and pop on over to Michael and see where he's at. I imagine he's maybe caught up with 680 as well. That he has, yeah. David at 440, Michael at 680. And Michael also shooting for that 1,000 points in total.
And again, since they're in different brackets, it's only for fun to see who gets the 1,000 first.
Yeah.
Interesting side. Yeah. Wonder who will make it first. So he's on level 5 as well, which is the relay, which factors in all sorts of things. Is there a time that has to be factored in for handing the gun off, or you hand the gun off to the next person in your relay team? Is there some time there?
I don't think there is in the tabling itself. There may be. I imagine it's like relay races where you try to make it as smooth of a transition as possible. Right. So as you're coming up, you see your person behind you, and you're just trying to get as much up to speed with them as possible to pass that gun off. Hope the safety's on.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about it. You got them long ass skis, and then you can knock the gun out of the person behind you. You start going and reach back, and then your ski hits the gun.
Oh yeah.
Dadgummit. All right.
There was a harder version of this level where if you look back and you were within 150 meters, with you're in eyesight of the person behind you, they were going to start going 1 kilometer per hour faster.
Oh no!
Yeah, that luckily was taken out.
It's just Achilles and the turtle at that point.
Yeah. So mercy was shown.
Yes, right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael. Looks
looks as though he's setting up his penalties, making sure he's reading everything proper on that.
Yeah.
It's good that you're able to link the one value from the shooting table to be able to determine how much you need to add on for that row for that lap.
Right. And as far as the penalties, and 1 minus the 1 or 0, the one being a hit, 0 being a miss. That was a generous way for the case designer to store that data as numbers and show it as dots.
Yeah, makes it so you don't have to build it out yourself. You just have to work with what you got.
Right. Although, just realizing that it's 0s and 1s there, that those black and white dots are actually zeros and ones that we're using conditional formatting to show. When I just looked at it, or when you're looking at it on TV, you don't realize that those are zeros and ones, which makes the whole shooting thing a tiny bit easier to deal with. Not that this is an easy case at all, but it would have been harder had those been merged cells with linked pictures from the internet or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks as though we're just missing something small. Found the parentheses and we've got that put in. Yep. He just finished out mapping out the example, got that to work to 5609, and you should be able to build out from the rest of this.
Look at this. Could get to that 1,000 points at the 8-minute mark.
Okay, it looks as Julie's up on the board. She managed managed to jump up on that, and
she's through with level 1. All right, good.
Yeah, and we're still hovering here. David's still at 440. Let's go ahead and see how he's doing. It looks as though Michael should have his finish out on that formula. All right. And a bit of a cleaner kitchen here, as we could call it. All right. So David might have been able to round that out.
Trying to catch up and finish level 4, right, to get to 680 points.
Mm-hmm. It looks as though he's pretty confident in what he's got here. He's going to go ahead and get those in.
What happened there? All those hash signs.
Yeah.
Is that a...
I think the roundup might have put it to 0.0 from what I saw of his... No, is it 0.0? It's kind of
comma 0, so that's 0 decimal points.
Yeah, so he'll need to clean up the formatting on that if he wants those to fit in. But this should just about count. It looks as though Michael has indeed finished off.
Oh my gosh, 1,000 points.
That should be the first 1,000. He's going to go ahead and finish out with 7 minutes to spare.
Now, Michael,
very nice.
Michael needs to sit on his hands, right? Because you can start putting wrong answers in and drop from the 1,000. So Michael needs to just stop.
Yeah, don't mess with it. You've got what you got.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get the leaderboard pulled up once more and see if Joseph has managed to catch up at all while we're waiting. No, still sitting pretty static here.
Michael.
All right, and again, the tiebreaker, if David would somehow get to 1,000, it's whoever got there first. So Michael is going to move on to Saturday's finals. Congratulations, Michael.
Yeah. Big ups to him.
Yeah. All right. Ranked 5th in the world. So we would expect him at a number 5 seed to make it to the top 8.
Yeah, it looks as though the formatting might be an issue here for David, but he's moving on, it looks like.
Really?
Yeah, he's sitting at 440. We haven't seen any increases or decreases in the score, even though he solved that problem before. So it's a bit confusing here.
It is.
Yeah,
to actually have the scores recorded, you have to bounce those into Excel Online, where it's a big linked spreadsheet using collaboration. I wonder if you just forgot to do that.
Maybe.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Joseph, see where he's cruising along, if he's going to be able to reach that 1,000, join the
let's see
the esteemed ranks of Michael.
So he's on level 5. This is worth 320 points. If he solves one, he would think he would solve them all.
Yeah, we're almost coming up on the last 5 here.
Yep, 5.5, 5.5, folks. Now 5.5.
And you see that F2 enter, the F2 enter, or F2 escape, where you go F2 to put the cell in edit mode. See the little colored boxes appear, and then press escape. That's why the F1 key is so important.
Yeah.
Removing that F1 key, because as you're toggling back and forth from F2 and escape, if you accidentally strike F1, that's 5 or 6.
Sunk.
Yeah, that's time wasted.
You're taking a penalty lap.
All right, I'm gonna. Here's a prediction. Next year, I want you to watch out for Jay Moore. Jay Moore, working at home, thinks he just got all 1,000 points. Jay, you need to play next year, right? You're 25 minutes in, and you just mentioned here in the chat on YouTube that he downloaded the case himself and managed to get to 1,000 points. Jay, you should be here. You should make sure to play next year. The next FMWC Open.
Could be seeing that $3,000 grand prize in your pocket.
Right.
Ooh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
put some of those new rims on this car. $1,000. Yeah. So the deal why Joseph does not have the flags is because he is not on Excel 365, and that makes it even more spectacular because he's in this old rickety version of Excel.
So he doesn't have
And
dynamic array formulas? Oh my gosh.
Oh Lord! And look
Playing
what
in
he's
Model
still
T.
doing. Look
Getting
at
a
him
quick
stretching.
stretch
for the
He's
last
stretching.
4
Look
minutes.
at that. He said,
Oh, my goodness.
something about to
Yes,
happen.
yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there we are. 1,000 points for Joseph. So that's
There
God,
it is.
see that? Look
two
at that.
people.
That's
Two people managed to
beautiful.
score
Let's see.
1,000 points. Now, for the folks that we're watching today, the 4 that we're watching today, we have clear winners, and that's not going to change. But remember, there's other brackets out there where we don't have the live stream, so we need to let the 3 minutes and 40 seconds continue so the other people who are playing can continue to get the 1,000. It'll be interesting to see if any of those matches, if we come up with any other thousands, do any pairs each get 1,000.
Yeah, and for you viewers at home, if you're following along, gives you the opportunity to test your mettle. But let's go ahead and jump on over to Julie, see where she's at with things.
Oh, Julie just jumped up to 240. She saw
there
level
she goes.
240. All right,
nice.
Julie.
All right.
Coming along. Coming in. Come on.
Yeah, she's got 3 minutes here to see how much she can settle in on board. Just starting on this, she's going to go ahead and have to add in not only the time penalties from last round, but let's see here. Yeah, 3 laps each. Extra bullets not available. So we just got those 2 shots. So this is our first one with the shot penalties being accounted for last round, I think.
And for those of you watching at home who joined us late, remember that during the live stream, if for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds, if you go out to the FMWC website, you can download this case for free. After this event, it's going to be available for purchase. But because you're here today watching us live, go check that out. It's a great thing to do after the fact, just not necessarily to see how fast you are, but to see if you have the Excel skills. Great way to learn, how to solve these. So jump out there and download those. And if you happen to be watching this on the replay, that's okay. It's $10 or something like that. Buy a bundle of the whole thing after next Saturday, and you can have all the cases from Asia and the America sessions. Oz and I have seen the Americas ones, but not the Asia ones. So definitely interesting.
Yeah. Always an opportunity to learn more. And with just under 2 minutes left, I do want to get a spotlight on David just to make sure, getting a little bit of parity for everybody, see where he's at with things.
All right.
He was keeping along pretty well with Michael there for a bit. And I think he was working on level 4 last we saw him.
So, Amos, let's switch over to David.
Yeah, what is David doing?
Okay, so
David coming along.
Seems a bit hung up on example 4. Maybe having some trouble accounting for the start times there. That is a really tricky one.
All right. So now, any idea who Joseph might be going up against?
Yeah, we'll know in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll know in a few minutes.
Right.
All right, because when that person is in trouble, whomever that is.
it might be Michael. If he's going up against
might
Michael,
be
then Joseph's in trouble.
Right. Joseph.
Yeah, and down in our last minute, just 50 seconds remaining. I mean, this is just an opportunity to see, how much further can I go? How much further can you push yourself to be able to get up on the board? All right, and winding down. Two hand sitters with perfect scores. You can't really complain. It's,
25, 79, 25. 25 now, 20. 20 now, 20. Oh, let's see. We got this green screen. Come on. All right.
There we go.
See,
we're at 10. All right, and the last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Congratulations to Joseph and Michael for finishing out today's group stage, moving on to top 4. Or is it top 4 or top 8? Top 8.
Top 8, yeah. Top 8.
Yeah, both with perfect scores. Yeah. Michael finishing a little bit faster. That could give him the nudge that he needs in the head-to-head to be able to finish off.
Well, I think that for any team coming off a win like this, it'll give them some confidence. But I still think I'm going with Joseph, the King Cobra Pelosi.
All right, there's your prediction. There's your prediction from Oz.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a chance to chat with the participants to see how it went, and then we'll folks behind the scenes are getting the final brackets. So let's see if we have anyone.
If we can get this thing to stop being green.
Yeah,
it looks as though we are. So it's just a Microsoft Teams issue.
Okay, we're still
so
live.
We should be able to see them and everything. It looks as though we have our participants.
Yes, we have our participants.
Let's start with Julie. Julie, we were so pained watching you, and someone on the chat said that you were off by a factor of 60. It was you had the number of you had to divide by 60 or something like that, and that seems to have stopped you for quite some time until you discovered that.
Oh, am I not?
You're cutting out a bit. Are you unmuted?
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
Hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think I just forgot kind of basic maths at the start there. And I just started panicking, and that was it, really.
Right. That
It
put you pretty far behind, but you have to be proud to get to this point.
Yes.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, put some respectable numbers up on the board after an initial setback. It's something to be
This
proud
is
of.
serious.
Michael, first 1,000 that I've seen during this competition, and you were the first one to get there very, very quickly. I said at this point now he has to make sure to sit on his hands and not go change anything because you could have fallen from the 1,000. But congratulations on being the first perfect score that we saw today.
Congratulations. Yep.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, sitting on my hands, not a problem for me. I think once I've done my work, I'm very happy to call it a day and go off. So yeah, it was nice to have like there's example rows for each question, and when you sort of get it right for the example, you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure I've got this right for everything else. So it's very satisfying. Unlucky David. It's a very good performance anyway.
And David, 440 points. You respectable showing there. So congratulations. Anything that tripped you up there on that level you were working at?
Round, I had some technical issues, but to be honest, it wasn't going to make any difference really. I think Michael was well out ahead of me, so I think I just did the best I could, but I think the better modeler won on the day.
Congratulations for making it this far.
You were keeping it neck and neck for a while there. That's good.
Yep, that's right.
All right,
and then Joseph. The King Cobra. What's the King Cobra got to say?
That's your new nickname, Joseph. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's what Oz has determined you are.
I'll take it.
He needs a robe with all the sequins and stuff on it for Saturday.
I'll need to borrow one of your hats.
Top 8 entrance song. Blast it from the rafters.
I'll need to borrow one of your hats.
Okay, all right. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, man. Now, don't get excited. Don't be like Mike Tyson going into the Buster Douglas fight thinking it's all a lock. Focus, man, because you can do this, see? You can do this.
All right. Wow, this was exciting to watch. I hope it was fun to play. Do we have the final? Are the final brackets ready yet?
Wait a minute. I did all the talking. I want to hear from Joseph.
He's going to get your hat.
Okay. But I just wondered what it was like for him to go through this one, because this one was a hard one.
Yeah, it was very hard, especially that I was kind of off by a factor of 60 as well for the early part. So that was kind of tricky trying to kind of figure out the like kilometers, the meters, the minutes, the seconds.
Yeah.
So this was quite an interesting round, definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely a sport that I've casually seen on TV and never understood, but now next time, thanks to the FMWC Open here, I'll have a greater appreciation when we see that on ESPN 3 or 4.
And I saw that move where Joseph went like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That
you're
that was
concentrating,
the
Joseph.
Cobra hood just waiting. It's like just is reared up and he's waiting, and then 1,000 points. Ha!
Well, congratulations, everyone. Thank you all so much for being a part of the competition. Let's go ahead and check out our final bracket for top 8 here.
Yes. Thanks everybody for being here.
Go.
This is great.
Yeah, so it will be Joseph versus Jason, and then Michael versus Harry. And so both of these 1,000-pointers here in the top side of quarterfinals, Jason and Joseph having made that in the last round of the biathlon, and then Michael going up against 337 from Harry. So it could be quite a favorite to win that. But I think we have a much more interesting head-to-head with Joseph and Jason.
And then there's a second page of brackets.
Mm-hmm. Should be Anoop and Dimitri. I believe that's how you say that. And then Samir and Andrew. So our third and second seeds still remaining strong. And Joseph with the new mantle of King Cobra and first seed.
Yeah, and notice no 1,000-point scorers on this page here. So definitely going to be an interesting round. And that's Saturday. Saturday. At the same time as this event on both the FMWC YouTube channel and ESPN3.
Saturday at US 41 Grand Prix.
We will see you all there.
That's right.
Yeah, right. It's been great commentating with both of you, and thank you so much for having me.
Ian, it was great to have a pro commentator here,
That's
Joey
right.
Oz and I. Who know our X lookup and index and match really well, but I remember
thing.
Y'all did wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.
For those of you watching at home, run out to the FMWC website right now where you can download these cases, or if you're watching on the replay, you can buy those. Definitely a lot of fun to work through these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Anything else today before we go to the outro video?
I think we're good to go, Bill.
This has been fun. And I'm glad that this has been televised. I thank all the sponsors and ESPN3. And for the people watching, look at this stuff. Check it out, because you'll see how other people work. But you don't have to be this fast. Real life is not that fast. Real life is grueling.
You just got to be right. You got to solve it and be right.
That's right.
Be right.
And get your money. That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited. I've always, for the last 15 years, I have a joke I make. I say, someday we'll have Excel in the Olympics. Right. Well, here we are. We're on our way. ESPN3. So
that's right.
Yeah, making our own path.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, hey, everyone, thanks for watching. Let's roll the final video.